Welcome to Academics Anonymous. The topic of today's video is 10 critical things to understand about mentorships. Alright, let's get into it. Number 1. Just because a mentor is good at doing something doesn't mean that they're great at teaching that thing to others. People often fall into the trap of believing that you can learn the most about a particular industry from the people who are most successful in that industry. But this is actually only half true. You want to receive instruction from people who have proven success in whatever it is you want to learn, but who are also competent in transferring their knowledge to others. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Bobby Fischer, but basically he was a child prodigy who became a world-famous chess champion. He was also unfortunately notorious for being a terrible teacher. His expectations were too high for his students, and he had little patience for people who didn't pick things up as quickly as he did. So my advice is this. When you're choosing a mentor, don't just look at their achievements. Consider their reputation as a person as well. Pay attention to how they interact with others. Do they listen? Are they patient or short-tempered? Can they explain things clearly? These qualities are just as important, if not more so, than their professional accolades. A good strategy is to not just choose a mentor solely because he or she is at the top of their industry, but instead choose someone who has a proven track record of guiding others to the top of their industry. Number 2. Just because a person agrees to mentor you doesn't mean that they care to make you successful. The truth is, they might just see you as someone to exploit for their own further gain, and that's okay. This is often the point of apprenticeships and mentorships. The apprentice serves as cheap labor. Ideally, you should be going into a mentorship thinking about what you can offer your mentor just to afford you the opportunity to absorb whatever knowledge you can while you're in your mentor's presence. The learning part is on you. Now, usually mentors are grateful for hard workers and like to reward that kind of behavior. Also, people tend to like giving advice to those who appreciate and implement it. But if you are exploited for your work, don't take it personally. That's just how the game is played. Number 3. Just because a person was successful at something doesn't mean that they know how they achieved their success. There may have been other factors that they didn't account for. I like to call this the Bill Belichick effect. Bill Belichick was the coach of the New England Patriots football team for over 2 decades, and in that time he led his team to 6 championships. He was regarded as the greatest coach in the history of the sport. However, when his star quarterback, Tom Brady, left New England, the team collapsed, demonstrating that the success of the New England Patriots wasn't because of Bill Belichick's mentorship, it was because of Tom Brady. Now, imagine being a newly recruited player for the New England Patriots right after Tom Brady left. You would still be receiving mentorship from a coach who has a record of many successes, but the successes weren't because of his teachings. His team's success was in spite of his teachings. Mentors like this often display a kind of God complex. It's like they were born on third base, but they act like they hit a triple to get there. My point is, if you're going to choose a mentor strictly because of their track record of success, make sure that they were the cause of their own success, not just a fortunate beneficiary who arrived there by chance. Number 4. Even great mentors are not right about everything. Their success most likely came as a result of them being right more often than being wrong, or being right about the things that matter most. What I mean is, you may disagree with your mentor about many things, and you may even be right about some of those issues. Regardless, it's usually better to take the L and let your mentor be right, even if they're technically wrong. You aren't there to teach your mentor, you're there to learn from them. If you argue too much, even if you're right, you might just end up pissing them off and making them less willing to assist you in the future. Therefore, choose your battles wisely. Once you've learned everything they can teach you, you can always discard the lessons that you don't agree with. Number 5. Not all skills are worth learning. In case you haven't noticed, modern society is flooded with college graduates who are in massive student debt for degrees that are useless towards landing jobs. If you're willing to sacrifice your time and effort to learn a skill, make sure that the skill is worthy of the sacrifice. Make sure that the skill is lucrative, in demand, and future-proof. Even better if the skill can be performed remotely so you don't have to be too dependent on hyper-specialized tools or facilities. Number 6. Mentors guide you to their destination, not yours. Know your mentor's goals. Choose a mentor whose goals align with your own. Just a far-fetched hypothetical. Let's imagine you get a mentorship in a pharmaceutical company. They've developed a new drug that they believe can treat diabetes. You believe that the drug isn't quite ready and requires more testing, but your mentor wants you to begin manufacturing the drug for sale immediately. Take a guess at what you'll be doing if you want to stick around. In order to minimize the chances of finding yourself in a similar situation, I recommend you set a mutual understanding with your mentor early on to make sure you guys aren't butting heads on any major decisions or courses of action. This should help manage expectations and make projects run more smoothly. Number 7. Understand the price for success. Enter with a set plan for what you expect to gain out of the mentorship and know the limits of what you're willing to sacrifice. The movie called Whiplash gives a perfect illustration of what I mean. A lot of people hate that movie because of the psychological stress it entails, but I appreciate the movie because of the harsh reality behind its message. Alright, spoiler alert. In Whiplash, a boy enters a college with one of the greatest music programs in the country because he aspires to become a world-class drummer. His mentor is a verbally and mentally abusive music teacher who expects nothing short of perfection from his students. The student literally gives his blood, sweat, and tears to achieve greatness at his craft, and his teacher does eventually lead him to greatness. However, the boy had to sacrifice his health, his girlfriend, and his relationship with his family during the process, showcasing the high price to achieve true greatness at something. If you know the cost of something, and you know how much you're willing to sacrifice to get it, you won't be as discouraged when things inevitably get difficult. Number 8. Have an exit strategy or a backup plan. Don't get so comfortable in your mentorship that you forget that mentorships are inherently meant to be transitionary stages, helping to guide you to the next phase of your career. Even with a particular outcome in mind, train yourself to spot other available job opportunities in your industry while you progress through your mentorship. Establish a network within your field and earn a reputation as a skilled worker. One thing you have to worry about, however, is how much leverage your mentor may have over you. For example, if you're a graduate student, a realistic concern may be whether or not you could be held back if you become too valuable to let go of. Or, if you're an employee in a company whose future depends on letters of recommendation, you have to walk the fine line of being good enough to get recommended, but not being so valuable that your mentor is unwilling to let you go. It's unfair and seems too evil to happen, but it happens all too often. Just something to keep in mind. Number 9. Respect your mentor's time. Recognize that they're sharing it with you. It's most likely the case that at this stage of your lives, your mentor's time is significantly more valuable than your own. Yes, you are also giving your time and effort to your mentor through hard work, but their feedback is a gift typically worth more than whatever time or effort you give them. Therefore, show up to meetings on time and prepared. Complete your projects to the best of your ability. Pay attention, show interest, and participate. Be receptive to advice. Be ready to learn new skills and to unlearn bad habits. Listen with an open mind. Don't take your opportunity for granted. And finally, number 10. Ask yourself, is your mentor where you want to be in life? If the answer is no, you need to ask yourself if this is a mentorship you seriously want to dedicate a big chunk of your life towards. Because if you follow in your mentor's footsteps, you'll end up where they are. Consider, how's your mentor's financial situation? How much free time do they have? How's their health? How about their stress levels? Are they passionate about their work? Are you? Take a moment to really think deeply about these questions. It could save you a lifetime of regret. So that concludes today's topic. I hope you found the information valuable. Feel free to comment if there's anything you'd like me to discuss in future videos, and thanks for watching.